Where I live, it sometimes happens that there's no rain at all for 2 months. I thought I'd cool down a piece of metal at night, let the humidity condense on it, collect the water, and see what happens. Here are a few components for today's experiment: two Peltier elements and some fans. Here are two pieces of heat sinks. I've painted this side of it black. I want to check the temperature with a thermal camera, and it's much easier to do that through the black part. A water cooling block for the Peltier element, and a nice big aluminum heat sink for the other Peltier element. The Peltier element has two electrical leads. If we run a current through here, one side heats up and the other side cools down. I'll put the hot side on a water cooling block like this with some thermal paste, and then the heat sink goes on with more thermal paste. But I also want to show you now how much the Peltier element cools down here. I don't want to cool it down too much. Just show with a thermal camera that it will indeed get cold here. This here to my power supply. So I've actually connected the power supply to the Peltier element, and the result is already visible. It started to cool down. Minimum temperature is about 7 degrees, 6 degrees, and it's getting colder and colder. So the plan is that the heat sink goes on this, somehow like this. This will be upside down, and the humidity from the ambient air will condense and drip nicely into a jar like this one. I'm currently cooling the hot side of this Peltier element with this setup, so it is completely liquid cooled. Here are the specific hose connectors for it, and there's also a small water pump, a cooling radiator, a dedicated tank for filling, and this cooling fan goes right on the radiator. If I reach the dew point here, the condensed water will simply drip down. There's water in the tank. You can see the level there. I haven't started the pump yet. The pump first pushes the water into the radiator, and then it makes its way over here to the cooler, then returns once again to the tank. You can attach your cooling fans right here. The white connector is specifically for the pump. And if you look, there's a small fan here. I glued it here on this part, and there's another fan here too. I connected the two in series. Together, the two fans operate at a very low speed. It creates a minimal airflow in this direction. This will help with the condensation, meaning in the sense that there'll be more and more condensate. And as I see, we're at 6 degrees and the temperature's dropping. It's very clearly visible through the thermal camera here that there's a cold spot. And I see hot spots over here. Let's reach the dew point. And from then on, we can collect the water here in the container. And I'm sure you noticed there are two pieces of wood here. And I'll build a second circuit. Let's look at the mounting. I admit, it turned out to be a very DIY solution. I cut two strips from a printed circuit board, specifically from this board. And using the strips, I clamped down the heatsink. And hopefully, this way, the cold and hot sides aren't in good thermal contact with each other. And the Peltier element is actively cooling down that heatsink that you see positioned right there in the center of the screen. Here's my thermal camera. Let's take a closer look at the results. The heatsink is 5 or 6 degrees. And up here, the fan is running. I want to run this whole thing on solar power with two solar panels. And if all goes well, the heat sinks will cool down nicely at night in a similar way to how they are now. I'm using this mason jar as a water collector. I'll put it here. And if you look, there's also a small fan here in this part. It moves the air, blowing it through the heat sink. I fixed this with glue as well. I hope it helps me get more condensation. I've set up two solar panels. Each is 100 watts, so the two together are capable of 200 watts at peak. There's also a charger and a battery. I'm charging a lithium iron phosphate battery using solar energy. The two solar panels together are putting out roughly 132 watts. The point here is that I'm using solar power to generate the energy needed for this. One Peltier element cools this heat sink, and the other Peltier element cools that other one. And under both of them, there's a mason jar. My plan is to charge the battery during the day with solar energy. The fan will stop in a moment, and then I'll turn the whole thing back on in the evening, and hopefully by morning there will be some liquid, specifically in the form of water. I'm sure some water could be collected during the day too, but I'm not trying that now. You see, one problem with the daylight hours is that the temperature is relatively high. It's best to collect the liquid during the evening, dawn, and nighttime hours. Two 100-watt solar panels can collect roughly 1.2 kilowatt hours of electrical energy on a summer day. I want to power two Peltier elements with this. Let's assume one Peltier element draws 60 watts from the power supply, so the two together draw 120 watts. Let's calculate for 10 hours. So that 1.2 kilowatt hours will be enough for 10 hours. We need to reach a temperature where water can condense out of the air. This temperature can be calculated using a complex formula. Basically, the temperature and humidity are the key factors here. Let's just skip that. I'll show you a rule of thumb. With 60% humidity, if the air temperature is 25 degrees Celsius, then the dew point is approximately 17 degrees Celsius. And the general rule of thumb is that if the humidity is 60% and the heat sink is 9 degrees cooler than the air temperature, we will eventually reach the dew point. If the humidity is 80%, then that is actually enough to produce just 4 degrees less. If the humidity is 40%, then you need to produce 15 degrees less. And if the humidity is 20%, then 24 degrees less. Of course, if we go down into the freezing range, things won't work there. It's roughly 8 o'clock in the morning. What's in the jar? There are tiny water droplets on the heat sink. On the back one, too. I think it's clearly visible here, too. And maybe a drop just fell into the jar. I don't know how much this could be. It looks like about 7 ounces, and I'm also curious which one has more. Look how many things were needed to produce just a few ounces of water. Solar panels, battery, charger, cables, and other electronics. Plus, there's this huge contraption. And I'm not saying this is how you should make water, but it is one possibility. How efficient the water collection was. Here the Peltier element was water cooled, and here by a heat sink. This is how much water was collected. But now it's all yours. Grow big. Another interesting thing is water electrolysis. The two solar panels produce about 1.2 kilowatt hours of electricity in a single day. This means that roughly 20 grams of hydrogen are produced. How much is 20 grams exactly? To give you a better idea how this works, you'd fill a balloon with this hydrogen, secure a small weight to the bottom, and see what it lifts. And how much do you think it would lift? Well, the actual answer turns out to be about 220 grams. So 20 grams of hydrogen can lift 220 grams into the air. But that's a different story. For now, I've produced water, and the plant I watered with it is definitely doing well. That's the video I've prepared for you. I'm glad you came. Subscribe to my channel, click the bell. Thank you very much.